Welcome to TCM. I'm Alicia Malone, and tonight we're celebrating a new book, TCM Underground, 50 must-see films from the world of classic, cult and late-night cinema. The two authors are with me right now, TCM programmer and programmer of TCM Underground, Millie de Chirico. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
And film critic and writer Quatoyiah. Murry, hi.
Hello.
So this is really exciting. I know both of you are aficionados of the weird and wonderful films that you play on TCM Underground. So just starting off, Millie, tell us about the program TCM Underground for those who have somehow missed it.
Right. So it is a late night cult movie franchise that started way back in 2006, I think. And it comes on pretty late on Friday nights. And it's just a place to play movies that might not get shown during regular TCM hours.
And go down the rabbit hole.
Correct.
And now you have this book which celebrates 50 different films. So first question, Toya, to you is, how did you narrow it down to 50? What was the criteria?
It was slightly difficult, but also very easy. I mean, we basically just did everything that had been on TCM Underground over the years since its inception. And then from there, making sure that we just had a wide range in terms of from all around the world, making sure that we get the high camp, low camp, all of that type of stuff. So just generally kind of what our favorites were.
I know you each chose 25 films and you split writing duties, but you also have this shared introduction. And something I love from that introduction, Toya, is you talk about how to be a well-rounded cinephile means to have a willingness to not just watch the best films of all time, but also explore everything and anything.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of what I love about TCM and what Millie does with TCM Underground is you get all of these fantastic, some of the greatest movies of all time, and then you get some of the worst movies of all times. And there's beauty to that because those are the fun movies to watch with friends, to laugh at. So yeah, I'm just glad we got to do it. Yeah.
Well, our first pick comes from you, Millie, called Secret Ceremony from 1968, directed by Joseph Losey, who our fans might know more as a director of films like The Boy with Green Hair.
Yes, this was a movie that he made when he left America after the Blacklist. And it was also a great era for Elizabeth Taylor, who stars in the film. She was, working a lot in Europe in the late 60s and early 70s. And she made two movies with Joseph Losey kind of in the same year. She made Boom and then this film. And they're both really interesting. But Secret Ceremony is definitely a interesting, weird, and also kind of sad film in a lot of ways, too. So I like that it's really textured.
And it has a great cast. You mentioned Elizabeth Taylor. There's also Farrow and Robert Mitchum. And I feel like we've seen each of these actors in films like Night of the Hunter and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf and Rosemary's Baby. But Toya, not like this exactly.
Not like this. I mean, this is, Robert Mitchum wearing probably like the worst beard I've seen, for a high production movie. Like Millie said, it's very dark. It's very intense. There's some very heavy themes to it, but it's also very gaudy and there's opulence and it's Elizabeth Taylor looking stunning as always, walking around this gigantic mansion and these beautiful outfits with this Art Nouveau vibe to everything, Tiffany lamps all over the place. So it's definitely a movie that I think people who enjoy the kind of high camp, this is for them. I think that's the beauty of what the book does. It kind of pulls these movies that, you're not going to watch these and think, oh, this is the greatest movie, this of all time. Everybody's not going to have that idea when they watch it. But for some people, it's going to be, oh my God, this movie was made for me. Like, where has this movie been all my life?
Well, let's experience this film from 1968, directed by Joseph Losey. This is Secret Ceremony. Well, that was Secret Ceremony, and I'm joined again by Quatoyiah, Murry and Millie de Chirico. So, Millie, what was the reaction at the time to this movie?
I would say that it was a commercial flop. I think a little too weird, a little too artsy for maybe American audiences. But I have to say, there's a whole group of people that have championed it over the years, including myself. So as long as we love it.
And that's what I get from your book is the fact that you both find so much to enjoy about all of these films, Toya. It's like they're endearing as well, and you want to keep them alive.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's these forgotten movies, a lot of them, because they're bombs, so many of these movies kind of go under the radar. They're not going to get shown, on most platforms. They're not going to be, kind of saved unless you have people championing them. When I first saw Secret Ceremony, it was because of preparing for this book. And I was like, this is such a Millie film. This makes sense. The people that I know who love this movie, it makes sense for the people that love this movie.
There's some surprising moments, as you write in the book, some unsettling moments as well.
Yeah.
But really, it covers the gamut, this film.
Yeah.
What do you love about it personally?
This might sound kind of weird, but I love the vibe. I mean, I just love the vibe of the movie. It's kind of spooky. It's dark. There's this Baroque architecture. And I like Elizabeth Taylor in all purple. She wears that entire purple outfit, and I'm like, she did it again. She looks good in purple, and she's wearing it head to toe.
I love her eyeshadow as well. She always has great eyeshadow happening. Yeah. And, Toya, I know there are a lot of comments about this film of Elizabeth Taylor being vulgar, but there is something just exciting about the fact that she was so fearless at this time.
Yeah, this is my favorite era of Elizabeth Taylor, this 1960s going into the early 70s. Her relationship with Richard Burton kind of helped her push herself out of her comfort zone of just being able to not be just the pretty picture on the wall. She got to truly be an actress and just go into these hard roles and do odd things that you wouldn't expect, Elizabeth Taylor to be doing, and to be vulgar because, we work at TCM, we're classic movie fans, and like a lot of the audience, people who are aware of who Elizabeth was in real life, she was a vulgar woman, She was a doll by all accounts, but she was a foul-mouthed lady who, did the world her way. And so I think these movies, like later in her career, kind of capture that.
And how much do you enjoy, Millie, giving people the chance to see these films for the first time often?
I mean, that's the joy of being a programmer, is being able to put movies back into circulation, especially if they're not on home video. Secret Ceremony wasn't on home video for a long time. And so, a place like TCM would be kind of the only place to even see a movie like that. And I like that. As a programmer, like I said, it's so fun to be able to just throw something out there and see if anybody, watched it, and then, maybe it gets rediscovered.
Yeah, I know TCM Underground has its passionate fans, and they're going to be so excited about this book, including Patton Oswalt, who did the foreword.
We're so honored and grateful that Patton got to do that. That was top of our list when we were kind of thinking of who would do the foreword, just because he constantly champions, these types of movies, and that's the world that he exists in, this kind of underground cult world. As a comedian, he's this kind of cult star, So it was just, beyond amazing that he did the foreword for us.
Well, we've got more coming up, but Quatoyiah Murry and Millie Chirico, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
And next up, we have Toya's Pick. It's a 1976 independent film made by a director involved with the LA Rebellion.